Good afternoon. Welcome to the 33rd Annual Students Teacher Recognition Reception at the University of Manitoba. I'd like to begin our event with land acknowledgement. I come from a family of immigrants who settled on Treaty 13 and the Williams Treaties territory, but I now live and work on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Inuit, Ashinawak, Dakota Oyate, and Dene, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. In reflection, I recognize the privileges that come with language, education, and ability to move to a land where there is hope for a better quality of life economically. As newcomers, it was not a consideration, nor was there understanding that the lands we saw as an opportunity for a better life was afforded to us at the cost of the original people's loss of community, land, language, and peoples. Acknowledging the harms and mistakes of the past comes with a lot more than words, but also reflection of my current status on the land and how that came to be. It is with this understanding that I can commit to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. My name is Erica Jung. I am the director at the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning, and I will serve as your MC for this afternoon's reception. I'd like to introduce members of our platform, Dr. Diane Hiebert-Murphy, Provost and Vice President Academic at the University of Manitoba, and Dr. Mark Torsha, Vice Provost Learning, Analytics, and Academic Infrastructure. I'd also like to take a moment and just thank everybody for taking the time to attend this event. This is a very it's an annual event that is probably many people's favorites here on campus due to the nature of just acknowledging people who've had an impact on their lives. So I really am appreciative of the time that you're taking to be with us today and to join us in celebrating these excellent teachers. This event asks individual faculties to select an outstanding graduating student to acknowledge and celebrate 2 teachers who've had a positive impact on their lives, one from their K-12 years and one from their time at the U of M. We've recognized about 1,000 teachers in this way over the past 33 years. At this time, I'd like to call on Dr. Hiebert-Murphy to bring greetings from the University of Manitoba.
Thanks very much, Erica. Good afternoon. It is a definite pleasure for me to be here to welcome you to our annual Students Teacher Recognition Reception. It's always a mouthful. This really is a very special event. I think it is one of the highlights of spring for me. I look forward each year to hearing about the educational experiences of the students that we're honoring and to hear about the ways in which these teachers have had a positive impact on their lives. I always find that for me, and I suspect this will be true for you in the audience as well, that as you hear about students' experiences, it gives you pause to reflect on your own educational journeys and think about as a student, those individuals who had a significant impact on you. Those teachers who went out of their way to perhaps mentor you or encourage you, or challenge you, or who opened your eyes to a new path that perhaps you hadn't even considered. For me, I think back to my high school teachers who encouraged me to recognize potential that I didn't fully see in myself, and some university professors who helped shape the direction of my academic life and ultimately my professional life. I think that these individuals will never fully appreciate or know the impact that they had on me, but I certainly think about them every year when I come to this reception, and I'm very grateful for the time and the energy that they put into mentoring me. Teaching really is an amazing and somewhat challenging profession. To be effective, teachers have to be excellent communicators. They also must be able to find creative ways to engage and excite students in learning. And they have to find meaningful experiences that help students connect what they're learning in the classroom to the world outside. Those are good teachers. Great teachers, I think, not only invest in their students' academic success, but they support their students' growth as individuals, helping them discover more about who they are and helping them gain the confidence that they need to pursue their dreams. The teachers that we are celebrating today exemplify all of these qualities and more, and we're going to hear about that. Our students are going to share how these teachers that we're celebrating today have inspired them, have guided them, and have mentored them. I hope that you all find their stories as uplifting and inspiring as I know I will. On behalf of President Michael Benarosh and the entire executive team here at the University of Manitoba, I extend heartfelt congratulations to our students who have been selected and recognized for their successes, and to all of the outstanding teachers we're going to hear about who've helped them get here. And I want to thank all of you for being here to join in this celebration of teaching. I hope you enjoy the event and that you take some time later to celebrate and congratulate all of the honorees personally. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hiebert-Murphy. Many of us can probably identify someone in our lives that has been an outstanding teacher for us. What is it that distinguishes that person from all the others? Today, the students will answer this and share their experiences and the reasons why they've chosen the teachers who will stand before you this afternoon. I'm going to be calling up to the stage by faculty each nominated student and their honored teachers. So when you come up the stage, you can come from this side to my right and stand at the podium on the left. And the two teachers will be flanking the students if both teachers are present. And we ask that the teachers stand there and smile while they're being talked about so nicely. It's a great photo op. Each student will have an opportunity to share about their teachers for approximately 3 minutes. And then once they're done, then you will proceed to the table here where Dr. Torsha will present an award to the teachers and a certificate to the students. Then you can descend and go to that corner where Dr. Hiebert-Murphy is standing, and there will be an opportunity for some photographs with the teachers, students, and as well the faculty representatives. If you could join your students at that time for the photo op, that would be wonderful. So with that, and then you can go back to your seats. You don't have to stand here the whole time. So with that, we're going to begin with the Faculty of Architectural and Food Sciences. I would like to call up student Emily Robb and teachers Lindsay Metrick and Mix Kathleen Wilson.
Today, I want to take a moment to recognize two exceptional educators who played a profound role in shaping my academic journey, and they eloquently set me up for the future that I'm proud to be stepping into. Firstly, Mrs. Metrick, my high school teacher over 3 semesters of AP biology, as well as my homeroom teacher for the entirety of my high school academic career. Mrs. Metrick was far from a monotonous deliverer of biological content, which is typically what tends to drive students away from taking interest in natural sciences. But she was instead the type of teacher who was fully invested in her students. We frequently referred to the entirety of the AP biology curriculum as the elephant buffet due to the huge 2-inch thick textbook that we'd all need to know by the end of the course. However, content was broken down in an accessible, manageable, and understandable way, which was greatly contributing to the academic success of students. While academic successes were fostered and celebrated, Mrs. Metrick deeply cared about the personal and professional growth of students outside of academic environments. Her extensive knowledge and passion for biology were matched, if not exceeded, by her kindness. She diligently listened to you with whatever you wanted to talk about, and she offered support that always felt human and heartfelt. Her classroom was a place of curiosity, compassion, and care. She taught me how to think critically, how to ask better questions, and how to balance ambition with grace. Later in my academic career, I had the privilege of learning from Kathleen Wilson at the University of Manitoba here in the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences. Kathleen brought forth a rare combination of wisdom, ethics, and empathy into every class that she taught. Well, they only taught me in the capacity of technical communications, which at face value sounds like an extremely boring class. I have never taken away more from a university course than the one that I took with Kathleen. Kathleen was always deeply committed to making sure that each student felt seen, supported, and capable. Their support was personal, generous, and deeply human, and they cared about who these students were as people, not just what they ended up submitting on paper or for assignments. I learned to communicate, not just to be heard, but to connect and to advocate and build bridges, all of which result from lessons that are extending far beyond any classroom. And ultimately, they jump-started my endeavors into advocacy and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Both of these educators helped me build not only my own academic confidence, but my personal clarity. They gave me a foundation rooted in compassion, inquiry, and courage. And because of them, I'm not only more prepared for the future, but I'm also hopeful about it. Thank you both from the bottom of my heart for shaping my story in ways that I'll carry with me for a lifetime.
From the School of Agriculture, student Autumn Hanslip and teachers Mrs. Amy Johnson and Dr. Anna Rogievich.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Autumn Hanslip. I am a proud graduating student of the Agriculture Diploma Program. I first want to acknowledge what an honor it is to be selected for this award and to be able to select two well-deserving educators that played a valuable role in getting me to where I am today. First, I would like to present my high school teacher, Amy Johnson, from Lundar High School. When I was selected for this award, the first teacher that came to mind was Amy. During my high school years, Amy was the teacher who did it all and wore many hats, from teaching me pre-cal, chemistry, essential math, and physics, to coaching volleyball, badminton, helping with grad planning and planning ski trips, and being the vice principal. She was a committed teacher that cared for her students. While being stuck in chemistry, pre-cal, essential math, and physics instead of the fun shops class, I got to know Amy. As I sat in her class all day, every day, she shone as a teacher. However, though her teaching abilities are amazing, I selected Amy for this award because of the love and care she put into her students. While being in her classroom for all of my grade 11 and 12 years, I recognize she went always above and beyond for her students. She explained the content in detail and found exciting ways to teach it, such as making ice cream in chemistry class. Along with the attributes I've mentioned above, she also went above and beyond her job responsibilities for her students, as she still answered any chemistry questions I had while in university. So thank you, Amy, for building a strong foundation of learning and support to get me here today. I couldn't think of anyone more deserving of this award. Next, I would like to present Anna, a teacher at the University of Manitoba. Anna is the kindest teacher I've come across. I met Anna when I took her poultry production class. Originally, I signed up for the class with little knowledge or excitement. However, I left interested and enthralled. Anna's impact in the classroom is what made her stand out above the rest. She facilitated an atmosphere that fostered laughter, learning, growth, and curiosity. However, it was Anna's caring nature and passion for her work that enthralled me. From the minute I walked into her classroom, I was greeted with a smile and warm welcome. Then she shared her endless knowledge about the poultry sector and her passion for birds. Anna also went above and beyond and took the time to email her students individually regarding our work with positive feedback, which allowed me to gain confidence in my work and grow as a student. So though I was only in your class for a short period of time during my time here, I want to thank you for inspiring me to find my passion and for leaving such a memorable impact. Congratulations, Anna. To conclude, I want to say thank you again. There's a quote that says, "Behind every child who believes in themselves is a teacher who believed first," which is exactly why I'm standing here today. So can everyone give a round of applause to Amy and Anna?
From the Faculty of Architecture, student Eva Hagel-McPherson and teachers Ms. Dini Lefko-Hallis and Anna Turmeyer.
Hi everyone, my name is Eva Hagel-McPherson and I'm a graduating student from the Environmental Design program in the Faculty of Architecture. First, I want to thank the organizers of the event and the Faculty of Architecture for selecting me to honor the teachers I'll be talking about today. I would like to introduce you to Anna Turmeyer from the Faculty of Architecture and Dini Lefko-Hallis, my kindergarten teacher from Laura Secord School. Dini Lefko-Hallis was my introduction to growing a love for learning. I remember being so nervous to start school, but Dini and Venus, the classroom teaching assistant, created a wonderful learning environment that made me feel at home in class 204. Dini supported me through many formative learning moments that encouraged her students to be in tune with the present moment. We raised caterpillars and released them as butterflies, and learned about the seasons and the joy that you can find in change and transition when we would go outside and catch leaves in the fall to make a wish. She made her students feel seen and heard and helped me build confidence, which is especially important at that age. She brought fabulous energy to the classroom, and so much of what we learned about, including dodo birds, dinosaurs, and beluga whales, was taught through song on her guitar. Dini once told my mums that all she wanted to see was a hallway of happy hearts, and that is certainly true. Anna Turmeyer was the window for what could be possible in learning about the world from a landscape architecture lens. One of my clearest memories from taking prerequisite classes online during COVID was when Anna was a guest presenter about landscape architecture in one of my classes. As I sat in the basement in the class Zoom meeting, Anna arrived on my screen as a bright light in a green sweater. This Zoom presentation planted a seed for my decision to study in the landscape architecture stream. In winter 2024, Anna was one of my studio professors and taught me to think about design in a different way, working thoughtfully with what's already there. She was great at taking big ideas and guiding her students to break them down into smaller steps. Her careful, thorough, reliable, and smart guidance set a great foundation for my learning in landscape architecture. 1 year later, as I stood up to present my final studio work, she sat right in front of me as a guest reviewer and quietly said a few encouraging words that helped me relax into the presentation. I have meaningful memories of both Dini and Anna. They have become positive influences, and I can refer to the wisdom they taught me whenever I need. Collecting these good memories changed the way we experience education and life after formal school. Thank you.
From the Faculty of Arts, student Hannah Belek and teachers Ms. Kim Dudek and Dr. Roisin Kosser.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah Belek. I recently completed my Bachelor of Arts honors degree in history and will be convocating this June. I'm deeply grateful to the Faculty of Arts and the Student Teacher Recognition Ceremony team for allowing me to honor 2 educators who have profoundly impacted my academic and personal journey, Ms. Kim Dudek and Dr. Roisin Kosser. Let me begin with Ms. Dudek. She is currently the vice principal at John Pritchard Middle School, but I know her as my former social studies and theater teacher at Murdoch McKay Collegiate, where I attended high school. I transferred to Murdoch in the 2nd semester of grade 10, and because I registered late, theater with Ms. Dudek was the only elective that fit in my schedule. And at the time, it wasn't a course I would have chosen, probably not even in my top 3. But in hindsight, it feels like fate. And Ms. Dudek does have a unique ability to get even the most unlikely people to join theater. My hesitation disappeared the moment Ms. Dudek walked into the theater room. Her vibrant, eccentric energy instantly created an atmosphere of warmth, trust, and belonging. Over the next 2.5 years, her theater room became a second home. I developed strong friendships, confidence, and public speaking skills. We also made countless memories, from the infamous unicycling fire alarm incident of 2017 to our chaotic but hilarious grade 12 production of Peter Pan, Kinda. Outside of theater, I also had Miss Dudick for global issues and often sat in on her AP American History class, even though I wasn't enrolled in the class. Her classroom, filled to the brim with books, posters, and photos, was always open to students looking for a place to learn, decompress, or grab a snack. Through her lectures, seminar-style discussions, personal stories from her life and travels, and encouragement to join the Manitoba Legislative Page Program, I discovered my passion for history and social justice. Now to Dr. Coster. Dr. Coster is a medieval historian, professor, and the head of the history department. My first university class was Dr. Coster's Medieval World course. She entered the room with her signature warm smile and cheerful energy, setting a positive tone for the entirety of my university degree. Medieval World and all of the many other courses I have taken with Dr. Coster didn't just spark my interest in history, they made me realize I wanted to build a career in it just like Dr. Coster had. One of the most pivotal moments in my degree came when Dr. Coster returned one of my first university essays, which I looked back on now, and I've very much come a long way, with the comment, you should consider joining the History Honors Program. That simple encouragement gave me the confidence to apply for the program and changed my life. Through the honors program, I got involved in student governance by joining the History Students Association, made lifelong friendships, and found a love for archival studies. Thanks to Dr. Coster's teaching and endless help with my grad school applications, I'll begin my master's in archival studies here this fall. However, university and young adulthood came with many challenges and cheers, and I truly believe I wouldn't be walking across the stage this June without Dr. Coster's guidance. Everyone in the history department knows that if you go to Dr. Coster with a problem, you'll be listened to, taken seriously, and supported. So to Ms. Dudick and Dr. Coster, thank you for shaping not only my education, but also who I've become. I'm endlessly grateful to have learned from you both, and I thank you for your commitment to your work and students.
Also from the Faculty of Arts, student Hanako Teranishi and teachers Mark Coughlin and Dr. Jamie Paris.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would first like to thank the Department of English, Theatre, Film, and Media for nominating me, and to the Selections Committee for choosing me for this award. I am honored to receive it and to be given the opportunity to celebrate two incredible educators who helped set me up and guide me upon the path I walk now. I would also like to thank my family who has supported me all throughout my life. I would also like to thank Dr. Jocelyn Thorpe, who is here with my family. She is an inspiring mentor from the Women and Gender Studies Department who inspires me to write and made me excited to come to an 8:30 a.m. seminar in the winter. And finally, thank you to my dear friends. I never imagined it possible to meet such beautiful people in this world. And I'm endlessly thankful for the time we spent together, late night essay writing sessions, and the laughs we shared in the Haney reading room. I have always loved reading. My mom tells me stories of waking up to find me asleep with books sprawled across my bed and my bed light still on when I was young. A decade and a half later, this has not changed. I love the many worlds books create and invite us into. However, it was not until grade 11 when I took my first English class with Mr. Mark Coughlin did I first discover a love for writing. This love grew tenfold when I took AP English with Mr. Coughlin in grade 12. We had to write a research essay about a topic of our choice, and I decided to write an essay titled Shakespeare's Aesthetic Styles of Tragedy in Light of Aristotle's Poetics. If I read it now, I'm sure I would cringe, but I think this was a very clear indicator of my future in an English degree. I loved writing this paper, and Mr. Coughlin helped me through every step of the way. Mr. Coughlin helped me develop into the person and writer I am now. From day one, Mr. Coughlin taught us how to be strong writers, teaching us how to write a strong thesis sentence, how to integrate quotes, and how proper paragraph structure works. All which I still use in my own writing today, and as a writing tutor. I think I still have those handouts, and I referred back to them all throughout first year, so thank you. Everything I know about writing begins with Mr. Coughlin. His encouragement and guidance helped me discover a passion for writing and analysis. I feel no greater joy than finding a connection between texts and within texts and arguing for it. His kindness cannot also be understated. While making the decision to switch from STEM to English in grade 12, Mr. Coughlin helped me take the leap to pursue my passions and taught me to prioritize joy in my education. Now, starting university in COVID was difficult to say the least. However, I knew English literature was the right place for me, as I was still able to find joy and passion through Zoom classes and isolated essay writing. In my third year, we returned to campus, and I took a class called Shakespeare and Intersectionality, which I originally only enrolled in because I needed my period literature requirements. However, I ended up meeting Dr. Jamie Paris, who is one of the most dedicated, inspirational, and kindest individuals I have ever known. Jamie taught me I could study period texts in such a way that was meaningful and contemporary, such as through critical race theory. Through his mentorship, I also began to center myself in my education by focusing on my family history of Japanese internment through both critical and creative expression. Dr. Paris encouraged me to write with my own voice and to value it, which is something I will be grateful forever. I continued to take classes with Jamie as he created classrooms that conducted positive and critical class discussions even when exploring difficult topics. Jamie's dedication to his students is extraordinary. His pedagogy demonstrates this by modeling his courses after an ungraded model and by putting meticulous care into providing feedback to help students' writing skills. Every student that steps foot into his class is greeted and treated with unbelievable kindness and respect. I am honored to have been able to work with Dr. Paris as a student, research assistant, and part of his Ecology, Canadian Poetry, and Labor Research Cluster. All of these experiences have had a tremendous impact on my life and worldview. Both Mr. Coughlin and Jamie's passion for teaching and English literature continues to be an inspiration for me. I will carry and cherish the gifts I have received from both of them all throughout my life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
From the Faculty of Education, student Christine Hay and teachers Ms. Margaret Weens and Dr. Michelle Honeyford.
Good afternoon. It is not lost on me the significance of this unique and special position that I am in here today as I am entering the profession that we are here to celebrate. And because of that, I would like to begin by thanking the Selection Committee and the Faculty of Education for honoring me with the privilege of standing here today to recognize two teachers who have greatly impacted me. In 1997, my mom went to a parent-teacher conference. You see, I had an excellent report card, except for all of the classes I had with one teacher, Ms. Margaret Weens. My grades in her class were 30% lower than every other class. The outcome of that meeting was that it was me. The problem was me. You see, I was 13, and grade 8 was a tough year for me. I had a bad attitude and an inexplicable chip on my shoulder when it came to this one teacher. But the best part of this story is that it didn't just end there. The rural school I attended was a grade 4 to 12 school with no high school art programming at all. Margaret Weens was a teacher who saw the value of art in education. So when I decided in grade 12, 4 years later, that I wanted to apply to the School of Art here at the U of M with no arts training at all, it was Ms. Weens who learned how to build an entrance portfolio and mentored me through the entire process, through her lunches, her preps, and after school. 4 years after she taught me in grade 8. I did end up getting direct entrance into the School of Art, and it is with deep gratitude that I stand here today and thank you, 23 years later, for showing up every day with grit, for showing me grace, and for being an example of how I hope to show up for my future students. Returning to university as a mature student following a 20-year career and a family and family responsibilities comes with a unique set of challenges that I did not experience in the early 2000s. My first semester as a teacher candidate was stretching. When I entered the Teaching Senior Years ELA course in the winter of 2024, taught by Dr. Michelle Honeyford, I immediately felt safe, seen, and valued. My skills as an artist and a writer, as well as my life experiences, were honored. In that class, I was inspired and refueled. It was in that class that I learned who I am as an artist and a writer informs, matters, and contributes to who I am as a teacher. It was in that class that I learned the value of protecting and investing in my own writing and artistic practices. It was in that class that I realized that teaching, for me, is art. I had the privilege to continue working with Dr. Michelle Honeyford as an undergrad research award recipient over the summer. She continued to mentor, encourage, and guide me, allowing me to bring my unique perspectives to the project and explore research analysis through the lens of poetry and art-based inquiry. Beyond the class and the research, Dr. Michelle Honeyford has continued to be available to answer questions and offer support anytime I have ever reached out. What I have learned from her has and will continue to inform and inspire my teaching practice. Thank you, Michelle, for the times and attention and dedication you have given me in the past year. I am so deeply grateful to both of you.
From the Price Faculty of Engineering, student Alessandro Potenza and teachers Mrs. Catherine Ramsey and Ian Jeffrey.
Sorry, just a sec.
His computer is booted. he planned engineering, yeah.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Alessandro Potenza, and I'm a graduating student from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. I want to start by thanking the organizers of this event and the Faculty of Engineering for allowing me to provide the well-deserved honor to these two incredible educators. Ms. Ramsey was my pre-cal and AP Calculus teacher at River East Collegiate, and Dr. Ian Jeffrey was my capstone advisor and taught me multiple courses throughout my degree. I'll start with Ms. Ramsey. I'll admit, I was intimidated when I first entered Mrs. Ramsey's pre-cal class. We got right into content and she seemed very serious. And by the third day, my mom was mad at me because I'd already gotten an email home for being late to class. But very quickly, Mrs. Ramsey's kindness and sense of humor were obvious. And when I think back now, I don't remember her as just a lecturer, but as someone who felt like part of the class, participating in our many inside jokes and entertaining our random cheering and antics. I cannot stress enough how incredible of an educator Mrs. Ramsey is, especially when it comes to math. I didn't fully appreciate this until university, where I noticed how far ahead she put us. She really does go above and beyond, creating custom notebooks for each unit, with fill in the blanks and specific examples, and went out of her way to develop a deep understanding of the topic she teaches, even pursuing a Master's of Math for Teachers degree. To put things in perspective, and to brag on her behalf a little bit, our pre-cal classes had a combined average of, I think, 92 on the provincial exam, and so she somehow managed to make enough teenagers interested in AP Calculus that we needed 2 separate classes the following year. I want to say thank you for putting so much effort into shaping my study habits and work ethic and encouraging me to solve problems, hard problems, rather than to just take the easy way out. As I look at my high school classmates, many of whom are top students in various programs, I know that we were not uniquely smart, but instead that we had a uniquely exceptional teacher that equipped us with not only strong math abilities, but foundational life habits that we still rely on daily. Thank you, Ms. Ramsey. All right, Dr. Ian Jeffrey. When I was nominated for this event, I looked at the website where you can see the past winners since 2016, and was not the slightest bit surprised to see that this is his 4th time up here, and further, that he's been selected every time a student from electrical and computer engineering has been nominated. You might think this is because Dr. Jeffrey teaches easy classes, and you could not be more wrong. I think they single-handedly accelerated my aging, but instead, it's because he has this special ability to teach incredibly complicated topics in a way that's not only understandable, but genuinely engaging and enjoyable. He basically writes a textbook of the nicest notes you've ever seen for all of his courses, carefully designs fun labs and even exams somehow that feel more like solving a puzzle than being tested, and he's incredibly patient and humble when explaining and re-explaining concepts that we don't understand. As my team's capstone advisor, Dr. Jeffrey never once tried to simplify our overly ambitious ideas and believed in what we were building right from the start, even encouraging us to think bigger and go further. And beyond all the technical guidance, he was just there for us, hopping on last-minute calls, responding quickly to questions, and making time for meetings, even when his schedule was already full. From all of us who have been lucky to learn from you, thank you, Dr. Jeffrey, and I hope you have enough space on your shelf for another one of these awards. Thank you.
From Clayton H. Riddell, Faculty of Environment, Earth, and Resources, student Connor McNabb, and teachers Mrs. Charlene Kentner and Dr. Mark Hansen.
Hello everyone, my name is Connor McNabb and I will be graduating with a Bachelor of Environmental Science from the Riddell Faculty of Environment, Earth, and Resources. I first want to thank the Riddell faculty for giving me the opportunity to honor 2 phenomenal educators beside me today and honor their incredible impact on my education. And thank you to the university for hosting this event and enabling us to appreciate our mentors whose impact extends far beyond the students of this room. And on this note, I want to introduce to you my 2 educators, to which it is no exaggeration for me to say that I would not be here without their support in my academic, personal, and work-related journeys. Firstly, I would like to introduce Ms. Kentner, my grade 11 and 12 AP biology teacher, and my grade 12 AP environmental science teacher from River East Collegiate. It is Ms. Kentner who inspired me without hesitation to pursue my Bachelor of Environmental Science at the U of M. Ms. Kentner used inquiry-based teaching, where she would ask us questions throughout our lessons to make us think critically about what we were learning or to spark further interest in a topic. I always looked forward to attending Ms. Kentner's classes because of her energetic lectures, her sense of humor, and her keen passion for fun trivia. She perfected the art of being able to point us in the right direction without giving us the answer to a challenging question. Ms. Kentner placed the foundation for me to study hard, to seek answers to tough problems, and to make the best of the learning opportunities put before me. I often think back to my time in her class, where we would not only have fun and laugh, but have open discussions about current environmental issues. Today, I want to thank you for inspiring my career and for helping find my passion for the environment. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Mark Hansen, my NSERC Research Award Advisor and my Special Project and Environmental Science Advisor and instructor in Environmental Critical Thinking and Environmental Effects Monitoring coursework. So for the past 3 years, Mark has been a mentor from our common interests in ecotoxicology and risk assessment. I owe Mark a deep debt of gratitude for taking me in as his student and for giving me the chance to participate in his fieldwork and in his labs projects. I see Mark as someone who sets big goals, and his support allows students to work hard and succeed in these challenging projects. Whether it was conducting a new freshwater clam salinization experiment, and conducting literature reviews on freshwater turtles, or having the chance to present these findings at a cool toxicology conference. It is because of Mark that I may summarize my time in the Riddell faculty in one word: opportunity. Mark always maximizes opportunities for his students to grow in academics and in their career aspirations. If not for his mentorship, I would not be here graduating with the immense and memorable learning experience in this program. And now, as I start my career in the work world, I will hold close the steadfast lessons from both my mentors here today: to be curious, to reach big goals, and to always do it with a smile. Thank you.
From the School of Dental Hygiene, student Jenna Semenko and teachers Mrs. Marlene Seaman and Lorraine Glassford. Lorraine Glassford was unable to attend today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start off by thanking the School of Dental Hygiene and the Center of Advanced Teaching and Learning for providing me with the opportunity to highlight two exceptional women and educators, Mrs. Seaman and Miss Glassford. Mrs. Seaman, or Miss V as I knew her, was my grade 4 and grade 7 teacher. Miss V truly has a passion for teaching, which is demonstrated by her ability to make learning difficult concepts fun and exciting. For example, one of my favorite memories from her class was when we planned, baked, and decorated gingerbread houses as a part of our geometry unit in grade 4. In fact, she knew my class loved this activity so much that she incorporated another gingerbread house construction activity into our grade 7 trigonometry unit. Another one of my favorite memories from her classroom was our Jeopardy games that she created to help prepare us for upcoming exams. It was very characteristic of her to always go above and beyond in her teaching strategies to ensure we all understood the material. Miss V loved to have fun with teaching, but she also emphasized the importance of hard work and discipline. However, she taught discipline in a way that never felt mean or belittling, but rather she knew our potential and would push us to reach for it. I am very thankful that she continuously pushed and challenged me outside of my comfort zone, because it is in those moments that I learned the most. Mrs. Seaman, you truly have made a positive impact on my education, and you've helped pave the path that I'm on today. You have greatly contributed to my work ethic and my passion for continuous learning in the field of science. I would not be the student or individual I am today without you. Miss Glassford was one of the first friendly faces I saw when I entered the dental hygiene program, as she was one of the course coordinators for many of the first-year classes, such as preclinical, dental radiology, and dental anatomy. These are some of the most difficult courses in the program, and although the content was dense, Ms. Glassford would constantly reassure my class that everything would be okay. This was a mindset she provided me throughout the program, that yes, there'll be challenging assignments, patience, and days, but that it will all be okay in the end. Ms. Glassford challenged me, but not in terms of application of knowledge, but rather she challenged me to build self-confidence in the skills and knowledge I have to offer. In many ways, I saw Ms. Glassford as a mentor throughout this program, as she was always willing to talk and meet in her office, even when she was no longer one of my course instructors. It is this quality of hers that I admire the most, her genuine passion for wanting her students to succeed. She constantly demonstrated this quality by always staying after hours and answering my class's many stressful emails. Ms. Glassford also acted as a person of comfort for me when I had challenges both in and outside of school. And whether she knew it or not, she helped me find my path at a time that I was feeling a lot of doubt and uncertainty about my future. I truly cannot imagine going through the intensity of a program without an educator like Ms. Glassford guiding me through it. Ms. Glassford, I'm very thankful that you first believed in me and reassured me that I am capable of this profession. I truly would not be the student and soon to be dental hygiene professional without you. I feel very privileged that I'm able to honor both of you for the influence you've had on me and many other students. Thank you again.
From the Dr. Gerald Niznik College of Dentistry, student Alyssa Maurice, and teachers Mr. Réal Chaput and Dr. Aaron Kim. Dr. Aaron Kim was unable to attend today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alyssa Morris, and in just about a week, I'll be graduating from the Doctor of Dental Medicine program at the University of Manitoba. It's an incredible honor to be here with you all today to share a few words about two remarkable educators who have played an important role in shaping the person and the professional I've become. First, I'd like to introduce Monsieur Réal Chaput, my grade 11 and 12 science teacher at École Collège Régional Gabriel Roy. When I was in high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my life, but I found myself enjoying Monsieur Chaput's science classes more than any others, and even looking forward to them. He made science fun and interesting. Despite our small rural school having no biology or chemistry labs, he went above and beyond to make sure we learned everything we needed to succeed. He was the one who first encouraged me to pursue post-secondary education at the University of Manitoba. This was something that had always seemed so daunting to me, going from learning everything in French my whole life to having to adapt and learn everything all over again in a different language. But he cheered me on and reassured me that he believed in me and that I could do it. Monsieur Chaput was always there to support his students, whether it be explaining concepts with 10 different analogies until every single student in the classroom understood, to accompanying us on badminton road trips to come cheer us on, and even putting up a montage of student successes on Monday mornings after their weekend sports wins. There's one piece of advice he gave me that I still carry with me to this day. He always used to say to me, "It's okay to slow down and focus." He used to come to me after almost every single exam, pointing out with a laugh that while I'd done all the work correctly, I somehow still managed to write down the wrong final answer, which I'm sure frustrated him more than he let on. Looking back, it still makes me smile, not just because it was a running joke, but because it showed how closely he paid attention, how invested he was in every student. Mr. Chaput saw what I was capable of, even when I rushed past it myself. I still hear his voice in my head every single time I've written an exam since then, which has been a lot of exams. So thank you, Mr. Chaput, for your patience, persistence, and your belief in your students, for seeing the potential even when it was hidden beneath a few wrong answers. The second educator I want to recognize today is Dr. Erin Kim. Dr. Kim is the head of the restorative department at the College of Dentistry and has been both a professor and clinical instructor to me for the past 3 years. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here tonight as he's away on a dental mission trip in Guatemala, providing dental care to underserved communities. When I was asked to select someone from the college to receive this recognition, Dr. Kim immediately came to mind. Later that day, I found him in the clinic, helping students pick out denture teeth long after everyone else had gone home. That's when I knew I had definitely made the correct choice. If you ask anyone in the dental community, they will tell you that Dr. Kim is not only a highly respected dentist, but also an incredibly passionate educator. Anytime I have a problem or a question, he's always there and his door is always open. He dedicates so much time to his students, I'm not sure if he ever actually leaves school grounds. Dr. Kim has warned students every year that it might be his last before retirement, and yet year after year he comes back. I believe that's because teaching isn't just something he does, it's who he is. Every student who's had the privilege of learning from him knows just how deeply he cares and how passionate he is about dentistry and education. I've told Dr. Kim that he's going to be the first one I call whenever I run into trouble out in the real world, to which he responded, "I never should have given you my phone number." But I know that he'll always be there to help me and will pick up on the first ring. Finally, I'd like to extend a sincere thank you to both Monsieur Chaput and Dr. Kim for being integral parts of my long educational journey that's finally about to come to a close. I wouldn't be where I am today without both of you.
From the Max Rady College of Medicine, student Taylor Nimchonok, and teachers Mrs. Mandy Frenet and Dr. Mona Hegdecker.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Nimchonok and I am graduating from the Max Rady College of Medicine in a couple weeks' time. First I'm going to start with presenting my high school teacher, Madame Mandy Frenet. My very first class in high school was Spanish class. This moment where I present Mandy to you almost never came to be because my iPod, yes, my iPod Nano, started playing on its own in my backpack. Mandy was, of course, not happy and demanded to know who it was. By some miracle, I was able to shut it off, and it remained a mystery who was listening to music in her class. Imagine if I'd been labeled a troublemaker on day one. Mandy was the first person to introduce me to humanitarian work and advocacy, both of which I've carried with me throughout my post-secondary journey. Where my peers and patients have benefited from my advocacy, they have Mandy to thank. Teaching is a tough gig, but add teaching 14-year-olds in their second and third languages, and you have a stressful day-to-day experience. Mandy never lost enthusiasm or energy to go above and beyond, often hosting meetings at lunch and teaching these 14-year-olds about the importance of accountability. When you commit, you have to stick with it or you let the most vulnerable down. She was always willing to commit to you and your ideas, often helping me with several fundraisers I dreamt up in my 4 years of high school. Towards the end of high school, Mandy became more of a friend and a confidant than a teacher, so I was devastated when Mandy became critically ill with Guillain-Barré syndrome towards the end of my grade 12 year. She fought valiantly to recover full function, but was not able to attend my grade 12 convocation. When I was given the opportunity to present at this event, it felt like a beautiful first full circle moment where I could celebrate Mandy the way that she deserved, even if it's not my high school graduation, but my graduation from medical school 11 years later. So cheers, Mandy. I love you, and I'm so happy to be celebrating with you here today. And next I have Dr. Mona Hegdekar. While I'm not the daughter of doctors, I am the daughter of a nurse, which came with its own special moments of nepotism. When I realized I wanted to pursue emergency medicine in my first year, I asked my mom if she knew of any emergency physicians that I should reach out to, given that my mom had been the nurse manager of several emergency departments in Winnipeg when I was growing up. She immediately suggested that I reach out to Mona, as she stood out to my mom as someone who she really enjoyed working with and who represented a strong female physician. After I name-dropped my mom, Mona was very happy to be one of my preceptors during my 2 summers in the emergency department. But what I didn't realize is that she would be the only preceptor that would make me write notes. When I was reaching out after the first summer to see if my preceptors would take me on for a second summer, I hesitated to reach out to Mona because writing notes was scary and stressful, even if she never once passed judgment on the novels I concocted on her patients. I realized, though, that she pushed me in a way that no one else did, and I would be a better physician because of it, so I reached out asking for a second summer. Mona didn't stop pushing me or providing me with opportunities that ultimately resulted in me being able to pursue my dream of emergency medicine. She provided low-barrier, low-pressure opportunities to do research with her, where she praised me for work I would have never thought deserved praise. Finally, when I was crashing out about my final rankings for residency, I reached out to Mona at my wit's end, and she took me for dinner and provided me with amazing, neutral advice to help me come to my own conclusion. I am so grateful for her mentorship and will miss her dearly while I train for residency in Halifax the next 5 years. Thank you.
From the College of Nursing, student Tolulope Akinloye and teachers William Oyetero Oke and Aliyah Lagasse.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tolu Akinloye. I'm a newly graduating nurse, registered nurse from College of Nursing, University of Manitoba. It's a great honor to be standing before you all today. Truly, I do not consider myself worthy or even qualified for such a privilege, and yet I am deeply grateful for it. But first and foremost, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus, for granting me this opportunity and for always being my strength in life journeys. I also want to thank the College of Nursing and the Advancement of Teaching and Learning for organizing this event. Thank you for choosing to honor these astounding and inspiring educators. Finally, to my family and loved ones, thank you for always being by my side and for your constant support. My speech today is more of a reflective and thankful one. It is a testament to the profound impact that teachers can have in the life of their student. I have been taught by many gifted and dedicated teachers, and I'll forever be grateful for all of them. But tonight, I want to highlight 2 educators who left a lasting imprint on my life. These teachers were set apart not just by their knowledge or skill, but by their compassion and unwavering passion for teaching. These people were willing to stand with students through hard times and times of uncertainty. whether academic or personal. That level of care may not be written in a teacher's job description, but it's often what makes all the difference. First, I want to thank Mr. Oke, the former headmaster of Mayday School in Nigeria. I think that's what we call elementary school here. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, but he was one of my earliest teachers. He taught me math and English. At the start of my education, I struggled significantly, unlike my other siblings who did just fine. My parents were worried and needed someone they could trust. Mr. Oke became that person. He may not have held advanced degrees, but to me, he made more sense than anyone else. You know, I wasn't always an easy student. I could make the same mistake about 100 times and still keep making a mistake. But he never gave up on me. He met me where I was, saw my struggles firsthand, and worked with me through them. He taught me more than just academics. He taught me patience, hard work, and perseverance. One of the greatest lessons I learned from him is that struggling does not equal failure. In fact, it's a stepping stone to success. So to anyone here mentoring or teaching someone who's struggling, please don't give up on them. They might just turn out to be giving a speech about you in the future. Next, I want to thank Ms. Alia Lagase, an instructor 2 professor at the College of Nursing. Where do I even begin with such an amazing and inspiring educator? I don't know if any of you can relate, but there are a few classes you walk into just smiling, and hers is definitely one of them. Professor Leah has made a profound impact on me as a newly practicing nurse. Her belief in me and my classmates has always been so strong. It made me wonder why, but it also made me believe in myself. Let me share one of her little secrets. In nursing school, we have demos, kind of like road tests, but just a little bit scarier. During one of this, I was performing a Foley catheter insertion and completely blanked out. My anxiety was through the roof, but then I looked at her and she whispered, "You can do it." Those simple words gave me the strength to relax and think, and they continue to inspire me to this day. Professor Leah also served as one of the faculty liaisons for the mentorship program during my tenure as a coordinator. And trust me, she went above and beyond to support the academic progress of nursing students. Despite her demanding workload and the responsibilities of family life, by the way, she has 2 kids, she never failed to show up for students. Her unwavering support and selflessness reflected rare and admirable commitment, one that deeply impacted me and so many others. Professor Leah, you bring life, humor, and encouragement to what is often a stressful and demanding profession. Thank you for everything. To conclude, at its core, teaching is a call to service. It is a call to set aside your knowledge, experience, and even your ego in order to meet students where they are and help shape the next generation of leaders. Thank you for listening.
From the College of Pharmacy, student Kezra Gerbrandt and teachers Mrs. Cindy Kalansky and Ms. Christy Watson.
Hello everyone, I'm Kezra Gerbrandt and I'll be graduating with my Doctor of Pharmacy later this month. I would like to start off by thanking the organizers of this event and the College of Pharmacy for selecting me as an outstanding graduate. I'm honored to be here today among these incredible graduates and teachers. While I've had many exceptional teachers over my 20 years of schooling, I've chosen Ms. Christy Watson from the College of Pharmacy and Mrs. Cindy Kalansky from Winkler Elementary School. Christy teaches and coordinates the Applied Pharmacy Practice Lab in our second year. As every pharmacy student knows, the second year is the most challenging and rigorous of our 4 years of school. Christy made it all a little bit easier with the positivity and brightness that she brought to class every day. Although she was a new professor that started out halfway through the year, she had a way of teaching that allowed students to excel and grow in their abilities. She's always willing to give us feedback on our labs and patient cases, even holding practice exams, or OSCEs as we call them, when we were nervous about the big OSCE day, which the second years have theirs tomorrow, so everyone wish her good luck for that. All right, so she was willing to put extra time and work into giving second chances so that many of my classmates were able to pass and graduate. She always took the time to listen to us and reduce the stressful workload that we had. Christy's emphasis on work-life balance and wellness was very appreciated among students that are juggling class load, work, and volunteering. Both pharmacists and pharmacy students experience high levels of burnout, and Christy has taught me that mental health and balance are important so that we can best serve our community and our patients. Christy connects with her students, going above and beyond to help them. She even agreed to write reference letters for me and be interviewed for Pharmacy Appreciation Month. Before she started teaching, Christy was a senior pharmacy oncologist at Cancer Care Manitoba. As a second-year student, I thought this was the coolest but most intimidating job ever. With her many years of knowledge and experience, she's an amazing pharmacy role model, and I intend to emulate the empathy and professionalism that she shows her students and her patients alike. She may teach us counseling, prescribing, and clinical skills, but she also taught me the importance of balance to achieve a long and enjoyable career. Now, Mrs. Kalansky, or Cindy, as she now asks me to call her now that I'm no longer 9, she teaches 4th grade at Winkler Elementary School. We've heard that the only skills you need in life you learn from kindergarten, but I would argue that I learned them from Mrs. K's 4th grade class. While she may have taught us decimals, fractions, and division, which are all very important concepts to know as a pharmacist, I think her most important lesson was teaching students to be a kid of character. The 6 pillars of trustworthiness, respect, caring, responsibility, fairness, and citizenship are a lesson that every student needs to learn. Cindy taught us these pillars, but she also demonstrated them to us every day by being a patient, kind teacher that is passionate about her job. Beyond school, I remember Cindy as a very involved member in the Winkler community, including volunteering in church, the Humane Society, Central Station, and Thanks for Giving Run. Cindy taught us that empathy and compassion happens in other ways as well. I remember crying while reading the ending of Old Yeller, one of her favorite books to read as a dog lover. Stories like this taught us responsibility, loyalty, and loss, as well as a very healthy fear of rabies. Cindy found time amongst the hectic classroom of 9-year-olds to meet every child's needs. I remember her giving me special access to the older kids' library section in school, where she recommended series that had appropriate content. Even outside the classroom, she motivated me to finish a school hike in the Pembina Valley Woods, which was a tough feat because I hated the outdoors as a child. I would much rather be in the classroom, especially when Cindy created a competition where we would yell multiplication facts and our belief statement at my mother's class across the hallway. Cindy created a learning environment that allowed kids to be their rambunctious creative selves while ensuring we still learned, an incredible feat for sure. Cindy and Christy demonstrated that the life lessons, caring, and support they give their students is the part that we remember most and carry with us into our careers. I would like to thank them for providing me with opportunities to grow and for shaping me into the person I am today. I hope to bring the kindness and passion that they have in the classroom into my work as a pharmacist. Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Cindy, for being the exceptional teachers that you are.
From the College of Rehabilitation Sciences, student Yvonne Fenner, and teachers Mr. Ron Constant and Ms. Margaret Hart. Ms. Margaret Hart is unable to attend today, but her niece, Ava Hart, will receive the award on her behalf once the speeches are done.
Tanse, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yvonne Fenner. My traditional name is Standing Brown Bear Woman. This fall, I'll be graduating from the Master of Occupational Therapy program. I am here today to honor teachers who have made an important contribution towards my education. First, I would like to acknowledge Ronald Constant, who was my high school teacher and that I knew back then as Mr. Constant. Our very first school, Joe A. Ross School, opened on our reserve when I was entering my grade 9 year of high school in 1991. Mr. Constant was one of the few Indigenous teachers that taught us at that time. He taught math and science courses, which I was not a fan of, but I needed them to graduate from high school. I remember Mr. Constant teaching me in these classes. There was some head shaking that kind of looked like this. Yes, I do remember that. But what Mr. Constant taught me, besides the classes, he taught me to have patience. He never gave up on teaching me what I needed to learn, even if it took a little longer than anticipated. He always encouraged us to get our credits and not give up. The thing I remember about Mr. Constant is that he was always kind and he made his classroom a safe place for the students to be. The positive impact that your teaching made on me was huge, as I too wanted to be that teacher one day and give the students that same feeling, because that feeling can make or break a student. I want to thank you for being the role model and mentor, because you were a great influence on my decision to become a teacher. Fast forward to the future, I did become that teacher. I taught for 18 years, and in the last 8 years of my teaching career, I got to call you boss. You are the principal of the school I worked at. Throughout all the years stemming from high school to the now future, I honor you and thank you for providing that positive learning environment that I needed to be successful in my learning today. So Margaret Hart couldn't be here today, but her lovely niece is here. She's such a great helper. I've met her already. But Margaret Hart, I give thanks to her. I feel that she was sent from the Creator for me as someone that I needed. As I embarked on this journey with the Master of Occupational Therapy program, Margaret taught the students the history of Indigenous peoples. She began to pave the way on how we as clinicians should provide culturally safe and trauma-informed care. The course she taught has also allowed me to grieve and heal from my past traumas. It also helped me to become a resilient person, which I have embraced. I feel that this has helped me to become successful in this program. Through Margaret's teaching, she opened a door that has allowed my classmates and I to grow a stronger bond with one another. It wasn't only the educational part of this journey that she helped me the most and influenced my education. Margaret was there for me on a personal note, as I have called on her many times during the last 2 years while attending the program at the university. It was very hard for me to leave the comfort of my home, which is Opaskwayak Cree Nation, but truly the hardest part was leaving my family behind to pursue something that I wanted to do not only for myself and my family, but for my community. Margaret assured me that I belonged here in the program and I was okay to challenge myself. If it wasn't for her to have that ear and to encourage me to do the best that I could, I don't know if I'd be standing here today. Margaret has been a great support for me, and I don't think she realizes the impact that she had not only on the Indigenous students, but the students overall that are enrolled in the program. So Margaret, today, I honor you and give many thanks for being that person who has walked not in front of me, not behind me, but beside me. Kinanaskamitin, Egose.
From the Faculty of Kinesiology and Recreation Management, student Fiona de Guzman and teachers Ms. Janine Lavallée and Shelley Harms.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fiona de Guzman, and I am graduating with my bachelor's degree in physical education. I would like to start by expressing my gratitude and thanking the selection committee for choosing me to represent the Faculty of Kinesiology and Recreation Management, as well as the university for hosting this significant event. It is truly a blessing to be here to acknowledge 2 impactful teachers in my academic journey thus far. To start off, I would like to honor Janine Lavallée, who was my 7th grade homeroom teacher in Steinbach Stony Brook Middle School. Despite this happening ages ago, I had no doubt that she is the teacher who provided the most positive impact during my K-12 years. Before being Miss Lavely's student, I remember hearing words along the lines of how tough she can be. Although this statement was not entirely false, I discovered that she prioritizes fairness, especially within her grading. This is done with an intention that prepares for her students to succeed. I learned that she's the epitome of tough love. Miss Lavely emphasized time management and taking school seriously at the young age of 13 years old. But little did she know that this was the beginning of meeting and setting high expectations for myself. Because of her class, I kept up with small, healthy habits that she had instilled in me to thrive in my education throughout high school and university, including a coffee addiction. So thank you, Miss Lavely, for helping me create a strong foundation and the kind of person and student that I want to be. Also, I will always think about you when I hear Under Pressure by David Bowie and Queen with the amount of times you played it in class. Now, I will be recognizing one of the most selfless, kind-hearted, and delightful teachers that I have been grateful to come across to in my degree. Many of my peers would agree with this description of the one and only Shelley Harms from the Faculty of Kinesiology and Recreation Management. From being Shelley's student in the last couple of years, I have always admired the energy she carries in educating her students with the importance of physical literacy and movement. It is her ability to implement integrated learning from the classroom to the gymnasium which separated her from many of my university professors and instructors. This made all the difference in class engagement and understanding class content with ease. In fact, I looked forward to attending her classes as it felt like a breath of fresh air. One of my biggest takeaways in her courses are the high levels of interactions that help with creating interpersonal skills, and as a university student, I actually enjoyed doing group work for once because of her classes. It is extremely visible how much she prioritized our well-being and education, and this shows through the small actions she takes, such as bringing a bag full of snacks at each class to ensure her students are taken care of. Ultimately, Shelley has positively influenced both my personal and academic life, and I owe it to her for helping me find my people whom I've connected with through her courses. Finally, I would also like to thank my other professors and instructors that have helped me get to where I am today. And most of all, cheers to Shelley and Miss Lavely, who have made me feel seen and self-empowered. I can only hope to have this effect on others as well. Thank you.
From the Faculty of Law, student Cody Buhe, and teachers Mrs. Sabrina Naganshin-Angeles and Ms. Allison Fensky.
Good afternoon, everyone. On my right is Madame Naganshin-Angeles, and on my left is Professor Allison Fensky. I'm honored to have been selected by the Faculty of Law as this year's Outstanding Student of the Year. Law school has been the most academically challenging and academically fulfilling experience in my life. I can truly say that I've discovered my passion in life, the law. I'm equally honored to have the opportunity today to recognize two educators who have had a lasting impact on my life, one from my secondary school years and one from my time in law school. Both of these teachers have taught me the same invaluable life lesson, the power of compassion. Understanding the power of compassion and its importance for my education necessitates some background on why I decided to enter law school. I decided to enter law school because I always wanted to have a career where I would be able to help people by using critical thinking skills. Since law involves working with clients to solve their legal problems, I figured it would be a good fit. Moreover, I was particularly pulled towards working in the field of criminal defense. I was drawn into this field of law because it involves working as an advocate for people, many of whom are marginalized and cannot advocate for themselves. My law school journey has been tailored in many ways to a practice in criminal law. And the most important thing I've learned to best prepare to practice in this area of law is to have compassion for clients. So when thinking on who to award this recognition to, the teacher from K-12 who I believe best taught me the power of compassion is Madame Naganshin-Angeles. Madame Naganshin-Angeles taught me math and chemistry in grades 11 and 12. However, during my time in secondary school, I was not a very good student. In fact, I would describe myself as a bit of a troublemaker back then. I tested patience and pushed boundaries. However, Madame Naganchin-Angelis never gave up on me. Instead of frustration, she met me with kindness and calm day after day. I recall one specific time when she spoke with me very patiently and calmly when I was causing trouble, and her patience and kindness made me reflect on my behavior and think to myself that I should make some changes. Moreover, her consistent patience taught me that compassion is not just a feeling, it is a practice. I will always remember the kindness that Madame Naganchin-Angelis showed me, and I will try to carry that forward to my future clients. Turning to my teachers at the Faculty of Law, there were a few who stood out to me. However, the teacher who best taught me about compassion is Professor Allison Fenske. Professor Fenske was my supervisor when I worked at the University of Manitoba Community Law Center during the summer after my second year of law school. Her role continued as my teacher during my clinical experience course in my third year that was also based out of the University of Manitoba Community Law Center. Professor Fenske taught me about the importance of compassion for clients when working as a lawyer. In her classroom, compassion was not just talked about, it was demonstrated. She taught me that being a good criminal defense lawyer means more than knowledge of the law. It means understanding your clients. Many come from socially disadvantaged backgrounds. They may not trust easily or communicate clearly. Some may have things going on in their lives that prevent them from fully engaging in the legal process. Despite these challenges, these clients still deserve to be heard and understood. I cannot talk too much about any specific experiences I had when working with clients due to the nature of solicitor-client confidentiality, but I can say that more than once, Professor Fenske reminded me of the importance of compassion when I was working with specific clients. She especially reminded me to give clients some grace and the benefit of the doubt. I can truly say that Professor Fenske taught me how to show empathy towards clients and has set me on a path to carry this with me for the rest of my career. Both of these educators I spoke of tonight have taught me that compassion is not a weakness, it is a strength, and it is one I will carry with me as I pursue a career in law. Thank you.
From the Desautels Faculty of Music, student Sandra Geetz and teachers Hart Godden and Dr. Catherine Robbins. Hart Godden was unable to attend this afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much to the selection committee and to the Desautels Faculty of Music. I'm truly honored to be here today to celebrate the outstanding educators in all of our lives, and particularly in my life, Hart Godden and Dr. Catherine Robbins. Hart Godden was unable to be here today, but I'm inclined to let him off the hook. He was my high school choir director at Campbell Collegiate in Regina, Saskatchewan, and since I graduated 22 years ago, the barriers of both time and distance seem a suitable excuse. I believe the strongest testament to Hart's influence and impact on my life is that I aspire to be what he was to me. I sang in his choirs and vocal jazz ensembles for over 10 years. No, I wasn't that long in high school, but my loyalty to him was such that when he left the school before my grade 12 year, a large majority of the choir and myself followed him as he started his own community choir. Hart is not only an extremely talented musician, but he's also passionate about sharing his love for music, generous with his time, and deeply invested in the lives of his students and singers. He made choir my favorite place in the world by creating a community of trust and safety and belonging. He challenged me, supported me, and gave me opportunities for leadership. My future as a music educator saw its beginning in the years that I spent learning from Hart Godden. I took the long way around to this future, though. As a mature student here at the University of Manitoba, I find myself sometimes closer in age to my professors than to many of my classmates. This has been an interesting road to navigate, but was made so much easier by the generosity, patience, humanity, and openness of professors like Dr. Catherine Robbins. I have had the profound pleasure both to sing for Catherine in choir and to learn from her in choral education classes over the past 3 years. There is an element of vulnerability that is necessary in choral conducting. Music is so personal, and how we communicate and lead it is just as personal. And Catherine's open, honest, specific feedback and encouragement shaped every bit of progress that I have made and made me feel comfortable in that vulnerability. Her classes challenged me to step out of my comfort zone, think differently about what it means to be a teacher, and impressed upon me the importance of clarity of communication and expectations. Not only did I learn in her classroom, but I also take something new and valuable away with me every time I watch her conducting a choir. It has been an immense joy to watch her artistry and learn from her as I develop my own craft. Please help me in honoring Hart Godden and Dr. Catherine Robbins.
From the Faculty of Science, student Shubneet Thind, and teachers Ms. Trang Do and Dr. Sabine Koos. Dr. Sabine Koos was unable to attend this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Faculty of Science for giving me the opportunity to thank two incredible women who've had life-altering impact in my life. I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Trang Do, who was my International Baccalaureate math teacher and taught me math for more than 2 years in high school, and Dr. Sabine Koos, who was my PI for my bioelectrochemistry research project. So I feel like a couple organizers are probably looking at the stage and thinking, wait a second, these names sound really familiar. That's because they are. This is Ms. Do's second time and Dr. Koos's third time receiving this award, which just goes to show their selfless commitment to helping their students. So clearly, they're doing something right. And the obvious question is what? What is it that makes these educators unique? And it's their unwavering support, their commitment to guiding their students, and their ability to selflessly care for all their students. So, for instance, Ms. Do knows that when it comes to math, all students have different learning styles. And she also knows that some students really thrive in a group-based learning environment. So one day in grade 9, after a little bit, we are like a week after our class started, we walk into class, and what do I see? 3 out of our 4 classroom walls were lined with whiteboard so we could do group work during class. Or that during 4 years of high school, from the time the school day started to an hour after school ended, her doors were never locked because at lunchtime and after school, her classroom became the math help center. In fact, she's someone who's taught me and my peers the importance of advocacy by giving us the opportunity to be a part of Youth in Philanthropy and Vietnamese Orphanage Committee. Students leave Ms. Do's classroom not only as math learners with a good work ethic, but as well-rounded advocates who are willing to inspire change. Recently, I came across this article in the Nature Journal that said, "Behind every woman in science is another great woman in science." And let me tell you, I could not agree more. Dr. Koos does the incredible work of inspiring, supporting, and mentoring young researchers like myself early in our scientific journey. From giving me the opportunity to attend my first conference, to helping me prepare for my first oral presentation, to guiding me to my first scientific publication as an undergrad. I am so grateful that she's been there to support and mentor me through it all. Dr. Koos is someone who will put everything aside to help her students. She fosters this process-focused learning environment where mistakes are, you're allowed to make mistakes, but they're seen as an opportunity to adapt. The focus is on the process, not on the final outcome. And as a first-generation student in Canada myself, having had the opportunity to learn from such an innovator and leader in the field of electrochemistry, let me tell you, has truly been inspiring. Ms. Doe and Dr. Kuss are role models of resilience, strength, and selflessness. And let me tell you, they are two very deserving recipients of this recognition. Thank you.
Also from the Faculty of Science, student Jaskaran Singh and teachers Mr. Spinder Singh and Dr. Andre Premak. Mr. Spinder Singh was unable to attend today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karan, and I will be graduating with a degree in pure mathematics. And as mentioned, my high school teacher was not able to attend the event, but since I'm a math major, we can just assume Mr. Singh is there. Okay, so I'd like to thank the organizers and the Faculty of Science for nominating me to honor two very special individuals. I'm excited to honor Mr. Spinder Singh from my middle school and Dr. Andrea Premak from the Department of Mathematics. Mr. Singh was my math teacher from grade 7 to grade 10, and I was fortunate to have such a teacher in my school. He taught me how to think logically, critically, and out of the box. He was the kind of teacher who made complex algebra and calculus seem like simple addition. I will never forget the time I spent in his class. He gave me a passion to study and pursue a career in mathematics. When I was a kid, I used to ask Mr. Singh what it's like to do research in mathematics and what it's like to be a mathematician. And that question was answered by Dr. Premak at the University of Manitoba. I took a third-year level course with Dr. Premak, and I enjoyed the way he explained and taught the concepts. In the following summer, I received a research award from the Faculty of Science, and I worked in the field of approximation theory with Dr. Premak. It was a very productive summer, and I published my very first paper with Dr. Premak as a co-author. He decided to submit the paper on my birthday, so it was like a birthday gift from Dr. Premak, and it's one of the best gifts I've ever received. So yeah, thanks to Dr. Premak and Mr. Singh for helping me navigate through my life. Thanks.
From the Faculty of Social Work, student Rachel Schmidtke and teachers Chris Koop and Dr. Catherine Levine. Chris Koop was unable to attend this afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel Schmidtke, and I will be graduating this spring with a Bachelor of Social Work degree. I am honored to have been selected by faculty members to recognize and to celebrate the outstanding contributions of educators. Today, I want to recognize the significant impact that both Chris Koop, who couldn't be with us today as he is celebrating the graduation of his own children, and Dr. Catherine Levine have had on my education journey. So I have to admit, I had a bit of a laugh when I opened the email. It's been more than a few years since my high school graduation, and I did wonder momentarily if this was some sort of final pre-graduation memory test. I had to refer back to my high school yearbooks. Joking aside, without hesitation, I knew Chris was the high school teacher I wanted to recognize. Admittedly, and maybe I should have a trigger warning here for the English graduates, I don't remember a lot from high school English classes, other than he had an affinity for Gwyneth Paltrow, and she happened to make Shakespeare in Love around the time we were studying Shakespeare. So of course, we got to screen the movie in class and got to critique Hollywood's take on the great playwright's work. What I do remember about Chris was his ability to connect with students. It's not easy to find common ground with a bunch of teenagers, I now realize, but he always made every effort to find some common interest, something he could joke with us about in the hallways or challenge us in a candid debate. Not every student, including myself, was a gifted author or interpreter of Old English text, but Mr. Koop's English classes were as much about learning to put forth a good effort and build character as they were about essay writing. I have continued to be inspired by Chris in my post-high school years as he left his career in education to pursue his passion in creative work, much like I have decided to do in my own life. Leaving the safety of an established career to pursue a passion can feel scary, but Chris has exemplified that with a bit of faith and a lot of hard work, dreams can become reality. I had the good fortune of having Dr. Levine as both my field placement liaison and course instructor in this final year of my Bachelor of Social Work. Although our monthly meetings were bright and early on campus at 8:30 a.m. on Friday mornings, I came to love our seminar time with Kathy, leading the discussion. From our first session, Kathy established an environment that felt safe for a group of second-year placement students to be vulnerable, while always challenging us to stretch our thinking. It was never indicated that there was a hierarchy of knowledge, but rather a round table full of individuals with unique experiences, views, and interpretations. While Kathy always challenged us to consider different theoretical perspectives or ways of considering a situation, she was also a cheerleader and encourager when schoolwork or our placements were stressful and we felt overwhelmed and underqualified. Kathy also always emphasized the need for collaboration and community with our fellow social workers and truly led by example. In a profession that has an overrepresentation of female identifying workers, disproportionate to male identifying leadership, I am truly honored to have had such strong female leadership from Dr. Levine. As I move forward into my new role as a social worker, I hope I can bring to someone else's life the connection, empathy, encouragement, and leadership that these educators have brought to mine. Thank you to the organizing committee for putting on this wonderful event. Thank you to all of the educators in the room today for your significant contributions, and congratulations to my fellow University of Manitoba graduates. Thank you.
So as we bring the more formal part of today's event to a close, I'd like to take a moment to thank the staff at the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning, as well as the conference and catering staff who have worked very hard behind the scenes in coordinating today's events. So thank you very much. We have taken the liberty of, we will, I guess, it hasn't happened yet, but we will be transforming this photo area into a photo booth, complete with some fun props. So please feel free, grab your phones, and you can take some pictures to capture some of the special moments of today. And then as soon as you're able, if you'd like to join us for a reception, it's straight through those open doors in the middle section to your right, and Marshall McLuhan Hall, and we will have some opportunity to meet and greet and congratulate you, and you could take more pictures and have some food. Thank you so much for sharing in this special day. Have a great afternoon.